Yeah, let's start. Shalom, everyone. We're going to learn today we'll start the laws about writing or erasing on Shabbat. And there was a very interesting website. I have to find it in my history. It's called Things You Thought You Knew About Judaism. And it was basically like a trivia. And they wrote four sentences about Israeli stamps. And the answer was actually all of the above. The cutest one I think is the fact that the gum, the glue in the back of the stamp, is certified kosher. Um, but in terms of writing, the Israeli stamps are never ever printed on Shabbat. Not even even the designers who are not religious are not allowed to work on the design on Shabbat. They have to keep Shabbat because it's a official government publication. So. Kotev is the melacha of expressing ideas precisely using letters, numbers, or meaningful pictures or symbols in a manner that allows the idea to last a long time. In the Mishkan, letters were written on the posts, the wooden posts that formed its walls, so that the order, position, and orientation of each post would always be clear. Besides the idea of fitting everything together, since all of them looked more or less the same, they all had the sockets. Some had sockets of silver, some had sockets of copper. But the rabbis said that once your position was set in one place, just like the people of Israel had to camp in precisely the same way every time they encamped, so too these woods. If you were, let's say, 30 centimeters from the Holy of Holies, then some other piece of wood could not be put there instead of you. It was like the luck of these wooden posts that they were close to wherever they were close to. So sometimes mistakes would be made. So there was a need to erase the letters and replace them with the correct ones. And this is the Melacha of Mochek, erasing in order to write other letters, because we already saw that if you're doing something destructively, not with a purpose like tearing, we said if you're tearing not according to a specific cut, all of that is called mekalkel and it's patur of astur. But mochek, erasing here, was in order to write the new or correct letters. People have that today, I think, with the sukkah as well, if they have a way that they like to position it to remember. So, at first glance, Kotev seems to be a trivial and insubstantial melacha that should not have been included on the list of serious melachot prohibited on Shabbat. However, in truth, writing is the basis for human activity. No matter how smart one was or how good a memory one had, they would still have difficulty remembering exactly where to place each individual post in the Mishkan. And by the way, when Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wrote the Mishnah, everybody was quite upset at him because we don't write. This is an oral Torah, but already apparently when he was younger, he had these Megillot Starim, the hidden scrolls to help him memorize the Mishnah, and that's how he decided to do it in order for people not to forget. So this is the case with all complex matters. If one does not write them down, they will not remember them precisely, and they will lose the ability to reconstruct the knowledge that were accumulated and the achievements they have already attained. So even writing a receipt on Shabbat, when even if the person is non-Jewish, you go into a supermarket and they have to print a receipt. It's just like writing, and that's why this way there's proof of the exact purchase and how much it costs and how much tax, etc. And so that's why it's such a serious thing. Through writing, mankind was able to develop scientifically and improve human life. And there's, I think, over 10,000 languages officially now. So it's a way of communicating. In order to ensure that information is precise, sometimes it is necessary to erase a mistake in order to replace it with accurate information, even if a piece of paper has a stain on it and one erases it so he can write letters instead. They transgress mochek as his erasure prepares the writing surface. And just to remind us that until 500 years ago, people wrote on parchment, on skin, and not on paper. So erasing on skin is obviously a lot more, it needs a lot more knowledge to do it properly. Sometimes erasing is considered a melacha, even if one does not plan to write in the place of the erasure. For example, if there's an extra letter in a Torah scroll which must be erased in order to render the Torah kosher, and then you are not allowed to do that, obviously, on Shabbat. Using a rubber stamp is also considered kotev. It makes no difference whether the stamp is held with the right or left hand. We're not talking about postage stamps, but we're talking about the like signature and canceling something, or putting a mark that this belongs to the library of, etc., because the stamp can be easily used with either hand. Similarly, using a printer, photocopier, or fax machine is prohibited by Torah law on Shabbat, since doing so commits meaningful symbols or letters to writing. So, just before we finish the halacha, a long time ago, when people were sending faxes, I know it sounds like ancient history, but I think last time I used a fax machine was in the year 2000. And so there was a question presented to all kinds of rabbis: if somebody in America is already Motzei Shabbos and they need a blessing from a tzaddik or special prayers, are they allowed to send a fax to the rabbi's house? And also the opposite. If somebody in Eretz is already Shabbat, and are they allowed to receive a fax from somebody in the States where it's not yet Shabbat? And obviously the answer was depends if it's pikuach nefesh. Personally, I don't really believe in segulot, so I don't understand that question. I just wanted to mention it because he mentioned the fax machine. One may not type letters or characters on a computer or save them to a computer's memory. It is also forbidden to take photographs or to record voices or sounds. However, since these actions do not produce stable forms of letters, many maintain that the prohibition is rabbinic and not Torah. So tomorrow we'll explore the definition of the prohibition of writing and what how long the writing has to last, etc., and other details in that matter. And we'll stop here.